Thank you, Minister. Senator Patterson.
Thank you, Madam President. My question is to the Minister representing the Prime Minister, Senator Wong. On Friday night, the Jewish Shabbat pro-Palestinian protests turned violent and forced the Jewish congregants at a nearby synagogue to return home for their own safety. The Jewish Community Council of Victoria said the violent incident, quote, impacted on Jewish life in Melbourne, created a heightened sense of fear and anxiety in our community. On Saturday, a pro-Palestinian motorcade deliberately drove through Sydney's eastern suburbs in actions that cannot be interpreted in any way other than to intimidate Australia's Jewish community. Has the Prime Minister spoken with representatives of the Jewish community since these incidents, and what actions has the Albanese government taken since Friday night to better ensure the safety of Jewish Australians?
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Minister Wong.
Well, can I first say that I thought that the actions or the events that we saw in Caulfield were utterly unacceptable, and I would say that they must not be repeated. And I was also concerned about some of the footage of the events in the eastern suburbs of Sydney that you reference. In relation to what occurred in Caulfield, I think we know, and you have seen that I've said this publicly, Senator, that a protest near a synagogue was not the right thing to do, and it shouldn't be repeated. And the organisers have apologised, which is the right thing to do. I again want to reaffirm publicly, and you asked what we've done, and I will repeat what I've said publicly, including yesterday. The Jewish community in this country has a right to feel safe and to be safe. All Australians have a right to feel safe and to be safe. And no one in this country should be fearful because of who they are or the faith they practice. We have been very clear, including in this chamber, there is no place for prejudice, hateful prejudice in our society. There is no place for anti-Semitism, there is no place for racism, and there is no place for Islamophobia. So I would say I understand how those events have been extremely difficult for members of the Jewish community. I understand how distressing the current conflict is for a lot of Australians. And I reiterate what I said yesterday. Let us not let distress turn to division.
Thank you, Minister. The time for answering has expired. Senator Patterson, first supplementary.
Thank you, Madam President. Australia's Jewish community has expressed concern about the attempt by the Albanese government to link these violent scenes to Islamophobia. Does the government unequivocally condemn the targeting of Jewish Australians witnessed in both Melbourne and Sydney, and in the rise in anti-Semitic behaviour being witnessed across Australia?
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Minister.
I'm not sure what you mean by the suggestion link. I mean, I think we take a consistent position, and I think you know me well enough, Senator Patterson. I take a consistent position where I stand and the government stands against all prejudice and all racism. That was a particularly upsetting, frightening event, and I think that the organisers apologising is the right thing to do. But I will never I won't make an apology for always standing against all forms of prejudice and racism. We should be clear. In this country, no one should feel fearful because they are a member of the Jewish community and they practice the Jewish faith. No one should be fearful because they are practising Muslim. No one should be fearful because they are an Aboriginal Australian or an Asian. I mean, we have a consistent position.
Has expired. Senator Patterson, second supplementary.
Thank you, Madam President. While appropriately standing against hate crimes or acts of any sort, will the government undertake not to draw false equivalences in the future and to unequivocally condemn anti-Semitism when it occurs, as it should unequivocally condemn any other hate crime or act when it occurs?
Minister Wong.
I have unequivocally condemned anti-Semitism in this role and in every role I have held, just as I condemn Islamophobia and all racism. You use those words, I say it's moral consistency. Moral consistency, and that is what we will continue to demonstrate.